Hey everyone, and welcome back to Rank and File Sports. Today we're going to go ahead and react to the divisional round of the NFL playoffs, as well as give you our updated conference championship and Super Bowl predictions, given that both of our Super Bowl teams are no longer in the playoffs, which is a bit awkward.
It's a bad look.
But you know, who could have seen the Commanders beating the Lions? Nobody thought that was going to happen, except maybe a few crazy Commanders fans. Definitely not the Lions. Um, yeah, that was a really surprising upset for sure. We'll go ahead and start with the Ravens and Bills, though. This was one of the better games. I did have the Ravens winning this one, as well as the Super Bowl. But this one really could have gone either way. And in the end, the Bills did end up getting the win. Just a great performance all around. And the Bills really are going to take over as one of the favorites to win the Super Bowl for sure. Obviously, it's going to be tough to beat Kansas City. They have not done it in the playoffs with Mahomes as the Chiefs quarterback. So that's going to be a really great game there for sure. And then as far as the Chiefs-Texans game goes, I was wrong about the Texans both playoff games. I doubted them in the first round, and they proved me wrong. And I said for the divisional round that I couldn't pick against my own team twice. So I picked the Texans to win, and we did not, in fact, win. So yeah, really rough performance from me this playoffs, but hopefully we're going to turn it around once we get to the conference championships.
Yeah. So the story for the Bills beating the Ravens was the two early turnovers that Lamar Jackson had, the one interception, the one fumble. That ultimately is what's going to be the difference maker in this game, considering it was a 2-point game. Ravens had a chance to tie the game with that 2-point conversion that Mark Andrews dropped. But yeah, this Bills team is going to be probably the favorite to win the Super Bowl, not necessarily to come out of the AFC, but just to win the Super Bowl. With who's currently in the conference championships. And then Chiefs and Texans. I picked the Chiefs. I just thought being at home, just being the number one team, just finding ways to win throughout the regular season. I thought there wasn't going to be much of a chance that the Texans were going to win this game. Texans did hang in there for a little bit, but some poor calls down the stretch from the officiating crew, plus some timely blitzes from the Chiefs defense is ultimately what sunk the ship for the Texans. But going forward, it will be interesting to see what will happen in the AFC.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say it, but I mean, you bring up the poor calls. I wasn't happy during that game.
And I know you
Mahomes
weren't.
Mahomes has he's got like some sort of bubble around him that you're just not allowed to touch him for some reason. Doesn't matter if the football's still in his hand, it's going to be rough in the passer. I don't know. In the end, I don't blame the refs for that loss. The Texans' offensive line played absolutely terribly, and in my opinion, the offensive line play was what cost us that game. CJ just didn't have enough time near the end of the game to throw the football.
Yeah, giving up 8 sacks is not necessarily a
Exactly.
recipe for success.
Yeah, in my opinion, the offensive line is 100% what cost us that game. The calls by the refs were definitely bad. They definitely favored the Chiefs, but I do not blame the refs for why we lost. Moving on to the NFC though, the Commanders and Lions, we did not see this Commanders upset coming, but we did say in our last video that we thought the Commanders could make this game close, and we thought that if it was a shootout,
They
they'd
had
have a chance. And I mean, this game definitely hit the over. It was a great game. The Commanders did end up winning a shootout. We'll give ourselves a little bit of credit there because we didn't say it was impossible. And then the Eagles and Rams, we were split on this one. Both of us trying to correct a mistake made in the first round. I know for Connor, you had the Vikings beating the Rams, so that's why you picked the Rams. And I had the Packers beating the Eagles, which is why I ended up picking the Eagles. This game, honestly, it was a really good game by the end. but overall, the Eagles were just the better team. And, another not stellar performance from Jalen Hurts, only 128 passing yards, but really it's just been Saquon all along in the playoffs. He's had an incredible run, no pun intended.
Yeah, Commanders Lions, kind of like with the Ravens and Bills, the story of the game was turnovers. Jared Goff turned the ball over 4 times with 3 interceptions, plus a fumble, and Jamison Williams on a trick play when they were down by what, 2 scores, throws another interception. So the Lions kind of beat themselves in this game. They were able to keep going shot for shot with the Commanders in the first half, but once they started going down 2 scores, I think the team ultimately just started to crumble. And that defense, that's the worst that defense has looked all season. And then Rams Eagles, I thought that the Rams were going to be able to contain Saquon Barkley just a little bit, just to keep it close. And they did keep it close, but at the end of the day, Saquon Barkley is inevitable. 26 carries, 205 yards, 2 touchdowns. Doesn't matter how poorly Jalen Hurts might be playing in the playoffs. If you have that guy where you can lean on and produce every single time, you're going to go far in this playoffs. So it's going to set up a really interesting rematch for the third time this season between the Commanders and the Eagles.
Yeah. And we'll go ahead and move on to the conference championship picks. And I'm curious what you have first. So I'll let you go first this time.
All right. So AFC Conference Championship. Chiefs. The Chiefs have had the Bills number in the playoffs past couple years. If you want to talk about like the script or whatever, it's obviously like Chiefs got to make the Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes, the whole thing. I think this is the year the Bills finally break through. I think Josh Allen is playing on another level this season. He's probably going to be the MVP, especially beating Lamar, considering Lamar was probably the next favorite guy. I think that the Bills are going to be able to handle the Chiefs in Arrowhead. I think they're built for whatever weather might show up. I think their regular season win was very dominant. And even though it is the playoffs, I don't think it's going to matter. I think Josh Allen is going to have a phenomenal game. I think James Cook is going to also get a very good amount of carries and find the end zone a couple times. And then this Bills defense is going to find a way to limit Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and their connection that has gotten them to the conference championship. So give me the Bills to come out of the AFC, go to the Super Bowl. And then Commanders Eagles is very interesting. Both teams have a win over each other. The Eagles won in week 11, the Commanders won in week 16. This is going to be the first time they're playing each other healthy, though. Week 11, Jaden Daniels didn't play. Marshawn Lattimore wasn't on the team yet, and the Eagles were able to beat the Commanders. Week 16, Jalen Hurts gets injured and has a concussion in the first quarter, and Kenny Pickett has to step in and lead the Eagles for the rest of the game. Commanders get a last second touchdown to win the game against the Eagles. So this is the first time we're going to see them in a healthy matchup. Keys for this game for me, Saquon Barkley had 150 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns in both games that he played against the Commanders this season. He's going to be the reason the Eagles are going to be in this game. Jalen Hurts will have to step it up if he wants to have a chance of winning this game. The key for me, the Commanders have won 7 straight. It's just like the recent national championship in college football, Ohio State. Teams that get hot at the right time are the teams that go far. The Commanders, having won 7 games in a row, including being the only ones that are consistently winning games on the road in this playoff, are going to walk into Philadelphia, and Jaden Daniels is going to come out as the winner going to the Super Bowl to face off against Josh Allen.
All right. Well, I'll go ahead and start it off with the AFC, Bills and Chiefs. The Bills have lost to the Chiefs 3 times in a row in the playoffs. And surely you would think the Bills wouldn't lose 4 straight crucial playoff games. I am going to take the Bills.
Wow.
I don't think they're going to do it twice. This team is they've had a great year. Josh Allen is a great quarterback. and I honestly think they're going to get it done at Arrowhead. It's going to be a really great game. I could see this one being a shootout for sure. Just, I mean, so many great players on both teams. But in the end, even though the Chiefs they've been getting a lot of calls all year, as a lot of people have noticed. I think in the end, the Bills are a better team. And I think that no matter what happens, the Bills are going to end up overcoming that. I think the Bills are the better team. They're going to get the win on the road. I like Josh Allen in this game, especially with his scrambling ability. I think he'll get a key rushing touchdown, maybe even two. That's going to be the difference. Give me the Bills to move on. And then Commanders and Eagles. Now, you mentioned the Eagles winning streak. You know what other team was on a winning streak? The Rams. I think the
Got me
Eagles,
there.
they're going to do it back to back. They're going to end another winning streak. Honestly, I feel like this is the game where Jalen Hurts steps up. He's going to throw for more yardage than he has in both of the previous playoff games. Maybe combined. He'd only have to hit like 250 for that to be true, I think. Something around that number. Maybe a little closer to 300. Jaden Daniels, he's had an incredible rookie season, but in the end, I'm going to go with the more experienced quarterback. Saquon Barkley has had an incredible performance during the playoffs. That's going to continue. And just in the end, both of these offenses are great, but I like the more experienced team here in the Eagles to get it done and go to the Super Bowl.
All right. Super Bowl matchup, Bills and Commanders, two explosive offenses led by quarterbacks that somewhat play kind of similar. Josh Allen is definitely a bigger quarterback than Jaden Daniels and has been in the league for several years more than Jaden Daniels is. But if you've come this far, why stop there? Give me the Commanders. Give me the rookie. Give me the future offensive rookie of the year, Jaden Daniels, to walk away with a Super Bowl ring, the Lombardi Trophy, defeating Josh Allen and the Bills. I really like Josh Allen. It's so tough. If this is the matchup we get, it's definitely going to be a shootout. These are two of the best offenses in the league. But I don't know, something about this Commanders team is speaking to me, wherever you want to call it. I do think there is something special going on there. The turnaround they've had from last season, only winning 4 games, to being in the playoffs this year and finding themselves in the conference championship, 1 win away from the Super Bowl. I don't know. For some reason I'm picking the Commanders, so Josh Allen, you put up a good fight this whole season. You're probably walking away with the MVP trophy, but you're not walking away with the Super Bowl ring.
Wow. All right. I felt a little bit guilty clicking that, but hey, it's not my bracket. If I could pick, I'd say the Commanders are probably the least likely out of these four to win the Super Bowl. But that one's tough. They definitely could do it, but it's going to take a couple upsets. And the main reason I'm shocked you had them picking the Bills is because I think the Bills are going to win the Super Bowl. They've been to four, they've lost four. I think that's enough. I don't see them losing five Super Bowls. It's been a long time. And the key for this matchup, honestly, is going to be Josh Allen. He was the MVP this season. And I feel like he's going to outperform Jalen Hurts in this game. And even though Saquon's going to have an incredible game, I'm sure. I can't pick against Josh Allen with the way he's performed this season. So give me the Bills. This one's going to be a shootout for sure. I think we're going to see a lot of points in these last three playoff games, which
Mhm.
is something that a lot of NFL fans are going to want to see. It's going to be a great 3 games. Anybody can win except the Commanders, in my opinion. But maybe I'll come back. Maybe I'll bite. Maybe I'll come back to bite me there. But yeah, I got the Bills. You got the Commanders and we'll see what happens. I'm really looking forward to these next 3 games, and we'll see you after conference championship week. Thanks for watching.